Happier, Healthier Arkansas podcast hosted by the Specific Chiropractic Centers. I'm Dr. Cam.
And I'm Dr. Chris. We just want to thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode. If you haven't done so already, please click that subscribe button. And thank you for joining us on our mission towards making Arkansas the happiest and healthiest state on the planet.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Happier, Healthier Arkansas podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Dr. Cam. Today we have another host, Dr. Chris Brown. Listen, my friends, today we're about to go into a pretty serious topic.
The very first question almost everybody asks when they call us on the phone, and our clinic phone rings day in and day out. But first, let's talk about the scene that we got real quick.
Yes.
We are in Nashville right now with this sick picture right here. We got a person who's winking with rainbow-colored butterflies, orange, blue, green, red, and this is a fantastic atmosphere we are in right now. This is absolutely gorgeous. The Renaissance Hotel, downtown Nashville, Broadway.
And we were just sitting here during this conference that we're at, and we were like, hey, you know what would it look like to shoot a podcast here? Because we had a couple of ideas and free flows that we wanted to get into.
So Dr. Cam, I have to ask.
Let's hear it.
What is the most common question patients ask us over the phone when inquiring about our clinic?
Do you take insurance?
And why does that matter? Why is that a big deal?
It matters because, it's a valid question. When you look at the healthcare system, we pay into a thing hoping to never have to use it. Health insurance is very valuable, very valuable. However, in the broad scheme of things, here's a hot take that maybe some of you may increase that blood pressure a little bit, but your health insurance company doesn't care about you. We want to make that clear. Your health insurance company doesn't care about you. There's a policy that you have that you pay into, hoping that you never have to use. And in the event that you use it, you have to meet some astronomical deductible. And if you don't, you have to pay thousands of dollars a month just to try to just to keep that deductible low. But the most common question that we get is, do you take insurance? And it matters because people are paying into this thing and they want to use it.
A lot of times when I have this conversation with people, they get upset when we say we don't take insurance. They respond with why.
Yeah.
They want to understand why. The insurance is a reactive healthcare model to a problem, not a proactive to health. There's a big discrepancy there.
Yes.
So insurance will kick in when you're already sick, not well, or when an injury happened. But if someone's looking for some type of preventative, holistic approach towards their well-being, which there's a ton of stuff coming out now where that is the way to go. That's what's actually going to prevent disease developing when we are 60, 70, 80. They don't fund it.
And what's unfortunate about it, like I said, because we're paying into things. I have health insurance. Listen, you have health insurance. A great majority of people listening to this, you probably have health insurance. But it's just, I don't know, man. It's frustrating because it's like, you're right. It's very reactive. But here's the thing: people's response to that is totally valid, right? Like, wait, why don't you take health insurance?
And you're paying insurance monthly, so you're also financially invested into it. Therefore, you're like, well, I'm already paying for it, so I want to use it. So therefore, I'm going to go find a chiropractic clinic that is going to take my insurance. Well, hear us on this. With the chiropractic insurance, they incentivize us to do something every single visit. For our type of care, what we're providing, majority of our visits are no adjust visits. In that event, that means that we run a neurologic scan, we determine that you are functioning optimally, then we send you home.
Right.
You go home. Insurance does not recognize that as a form of care. It's almost like going to the dentist with a little magnifying glass, and they just scan the magnifying glass and say, okay, thanks. See you. That's it. But since they're financially invested already in paying this monthly premium for health insurance, they're like, well, I might as well use this. Well, then the health insurance, based off of the policy that you are financially agreeing to pay for, then they're going to dictate the amount of chiropractic visits that you get.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let's see this. You had a cervical disc protrusion, but your policy only covers 12 visits. So therefore, you're gonna get 12 visits and then you're out of luck.
Or the worst case scenario, you risk, in our case, if we did take insurance, we would be risking patient care because let's say we recommended someone 18 visits, the insurance only covers 6 of it, guess what? Most of the time, if people are looking to use their insurance, they only want to use it for the amount that the insurance company wants to cover it.
Yeah.
So they're going to show up for the 6 visits. We recommended as doctors 18 visits. There's 12 visits that we needed to continue to yield the best results for that patient, but they only showed up for what the insurance company would have covered. Therefore, they didn't get the results. Not only is their care on the line, but also our reputation is on the line because they didn't get the results that they deserved because they only showed up based on the proportion of what the insurance company would have covered.
And part of what insurance also covers too, they'll cover medications.
Yes.
They'll cover meds for significant illnesses, whether they're chronic, whether they are like autoimmune conditions such as Hashimoto's, or whether it's migraines like Topamax. Like they will help cover that stuff, but those things aren't necessarily what's going to help you get better. So insurance will not cover what's going to actually help you heal and get well to where the point where your body's thriving. They're paying for the Band-Aids.
And getting to the root cause. Or
they don't cover root causes.
They don't cover root causes.
Right.
They cover the Band-Aids, which again, my friends, that's why we're saying, like, your insurance company doesn't care about you because they only cover the things that are going to continue to put a bandage on it. Well, my insurance company covers my yearly wellness visits. Right. They cover your yearly blood tests and blood panels and stuff like that until they find out that there's a diagnosis. And then, based on the course of correction for that, because at your doctor's office, on your yearly checkup, you told them that you have migraines, and then, okay, you have migraines, I'm going to prescribe this medication. That's what the insurance company will cover, but they will not cover, in our case, upper cervical chiropractic that gets to the root cause of why someone's suffering from migraines, why someone's suffering from fibromyalgia, why someone is suffering from autoimmune conditions, because we're not trying to put a bandage on it, my friends. We're trying to get to the root cause and get you to express your life in full vitality.
And that begs a question.
Yep. I already know where you're going with this.
Do you?
Yeah.
What am I going to say?
It begs the question about finances within the clinic.
That is a good piece. The reason why that is a good piece is because now, okay, so say the scenario now is,
yes,
okay, we don't take insurance. Great. Now we are going to basically cross-compare the cost of care with the cost of a medication that insurance isn't covering. So both are out of pocket now.
Yep.
Because we've eliminated insurance as a possibility. Great. Cash paying. Chiropractic care versus migraine medication. Migraine medication on average annually is anywhere from $6,000 to $12,000 dependent upon whether or not you are receiving Botox injections.
This is annually.
You can look this up on Google. So that's annually. Now, the migraines aren't going to go away because we were not born deficient in Botox injections. We were not born deficient in Excedrin, Topamax, Paramate, Amitrix, all that stuff. We're not born deficient in that stuff. So why are migraines even happening in the first place? We don't know. Actually, we do. Anyways, if we are, majority of the people that we take care of are dealing with migraines from 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So let's just use 10 years as an example to keep the math in my head a little bit more simple. $6,000 minimum on average for migraine meds, 10 years, $60,000 spent over a decade trying to mitigate a migraine emergency that might come on, and then they keep on coming back. Chiropractic care for us is anywhere from about $4,000 to $4,500 for our typical care plan for what we see it takes for the actual nervous system function in your spinal cord to heal up. And generally speaking, over a typical human, that is taking 6 to 8 months. We have clinical data to prove that. That is why we do the full spine scans on our first reeval and our second reeval, because we're literally trying to see the spinal cord heal up and function, remove its scar tissue from top of the neck down to the lower back. That takes consistently a 6 to 8 month stretch.
Right.
Consistent across the board. Now, if we only have one time cost fee of a $4,000 to $4,500 care plan on average, typically that's what it comes out to, and then we're just on some kind of wellness maintenance from there, just getting scanned, not necessarily adjusted. And let's use this 10-year parameter. Let's say we get a lifetime client. They're coming in for 10 years. Well, that is 80. Our wellness fee is $80. 80 times 12. So that's going to be around, I don't know, 900 in the year. 900. Let's just round up to 1,000. That's $1,000.
And let's just talk about the prevention of that in and of itself, right? Keep going.
We have $4,000 for basically that first 8 months, and then you have basically nine years of around $1,000. So that in total is about $13,000 over a 10-year stretch to actually be living a life full of vitality and wellness and not dealing with your migraines anymore versus $60,000 and still being nowhere healthier than you were when you first started taking the meds.
And which leads to the next point, and the next point is this. Well, if that's the case, right, okay, I hear what you guys are saying. You guys don't take insurance because, A, they wouldn't cover the visits. It would actually impact the results that you guys would get, and C, they actually don't really care about me. They only cover the bandage, not the root cause. Okay, I hear what you guys are saying. Okay, if you take insurance out of it, if we were to pay cash for something, then we are going to be spending more on the actual stuff that's going to just bandage the symptoms versus you guys that would just get to the root cause. We understand that piece. So the next piece is this. Because listen, the thing about finances is we understand it, right? Finances, what we're doing is when you give someone your money, right? Let's talk about the somewhat business piece of what it is that we do, right? Because yes, we get paid by taking care of people. I mean, yes, we get paid by taking care of people. And then the more people that we take care of, the more we get paid. Let's just address that elephant in the room. We don't do this for free.
That's how practice works. That's how private practice works for all clinicians. The more people they take care of, the more money they get paid.
Yep. We do not do this for free. My friends, it would be if it was a perfect world, trust me, we love our work so much.
I wish chiropractic school was free.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's good. No, seriously. Because when we went to chiropractic college, yeah,
so it's like that we have to pay for the education that we have.
Yes.
And the stuff that we know now of like how to actually take care of our nervous systems, which goes beyond chiropractic care.
And I know some of you, listening to this are like, well, I hear what you're saying, or we've had it where you guys charge too much, or we've had it where, why don't you guys do this for free? And it's like, that's such a good point. I wish chiropractic college was free. Because if we did this for free, or if we did this at just a discounted rate of some sort, we are actually losing money. And we are actually going into debt, more debt than what it is that we have because of, listen, I did not have a full ride through chiropractic college.
No.
You didn't have a full ride through chiropractic college. We have student loans that we have to pay. And so the reality is, if we did this for free, like our lives are essentially at stake. But we understand that there's people out there whose lives are at stake because they cannot afford care. This is why this piece is so important. Because what I'm trying to say is finances when you exchange finances with someone, you're exchanging power. Like, I've worked hard for this X amount of money, and I'm going to give it to you for something that I don't actually know is going to help. What we're selling at the end of the day, Chris, is we're selling hope. We're not even selling like an actual, hey, like you give, you pay us and then we give you a product. We are selling you hope. We are selling you the expectation of knowing what your life looks like at the end of care. That's where we say what? We are not concerned about the person that comes in on their first visit. We're concerned about the person that comes in 6 to 8 months from now when they're sitting in that same chair and they ask what? What do they say? Why didn't anyone tell me about this sooner? That is what we are quote unquote selling. So yes, there's a business component to it, but the biggest piece, so with all that aside, this is what we have to say about it. Do we have to pay all up front? That answer, my friends, is no. Now listen, we've actually had a great influx of people lately that have been like, hey, I don't like paying bills. I don't like being in debt. Can I just pay all up front? That's fine. That's the best case scenario because then we actually get to, just literally only focus on the care piece. We don't have to focus on the finance piece. But listen, we understand that not everyone can afford a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 payment all at once. We understand that, right? We understand that completely. So with that, we offer affordable plans. I mean, there's multiple different ways that you can go about paying for it. What do we say? We say the financial piece is important. Well, as long as we have something that's in place for you to be able to pay it over a period of time. But the most important component is what?
For me, what I tell people, it's important that we can still have the roof overhead, food on the table, still be able to go enjoy life, and also get the care that you deserve.
Yes.
That's what I tell people.
Yep.
I don't know what you tell people.
Well, I tell them this. I say the most important component, or I say an important component is the finance piece, making sure that we just have something in order. But the most important...
2 pieces.
But the most important component is the time.
Yep.
The time commitment is the most important thing because there's people that are just, how much is it? And just, but we're like, whoa. Can you do the time? Because the time's what's
Yeah.
going to yield the results. You could pay me.
Finances are one thing,
Yep.
but
Oh,
committing
yeah.
yourself to showing up to visits twice a week to where you aren't necessarily getting adjusted on that visit. And that's a whole psychological
Yeah.
change that we have to break literally within the first 15 minutes of you and I staring each other in the face.
Yeah.
And it's, okay, real quick, I don't adjust you every single visit. I run a scan on you every single visit because I actually need to see how much stress is on your nervous system and if it is in your unique state where you are stuck,
Yes.
where you are not going to be healing. And in that event, that's when adjustment is administered. But if you are not in that state, if you are in a place where, hey, nervous system's still pretty good, we're actually in a state of healing, we're continuing to recover from the wreckage that my body has been through over the past 10 years, then we're going to leave you alone. And that's a good thing.
And then the biggest also piece that we want to talk about in this whole concept is this, the whole concept of having a scarcity mindset around it. Because it's very easy for someone to pay $2,000 for an iPhone, but they will not spend that same amount of money on their care or on themselves.
The biggest example I have is a car.
Yes.
The check engine light comes on the car. What do we do? What do? I immediately, without hesitation, call Crane Hyundai down off of Colonel Glenn, and I'm all like, when's your next appointment?
Yep.
And they go, today at 7 a.m. And I go, sweet, I am there. I pull into Colonel Glenn, I pull into Crane Hyundai, I give them the keys, and I don't even ask how much. I just say, fix it.
Fix it.
Now, I go sit in the lobby. I don't drink the coffee because I don't like coffee. I'm sitting on my phone, doing whatever. They come back, they say, Chris, your car's jacked up. They give me the report, and it's $1,300 just out of the gate. They haven't even told me what it was going to be, and I'm just all like, "What do you need? Go,
Right.
do it. Take care of it." Why? Because I need to go drive back home. I need to go drive to the grocery store. I need to use this thing to get me from place to place. Well, what's the one thing that you are never ever separated from your entire life? Your body.
Ever.
Never.
Ever.
And majority of us have been living life with our body's check engine light on since we were kids.
And we don't care. Quite frankly.
We don't care because the symptoms don't show up until we've already lost 80% of function. And then symptoms show up and then they don't go away. And now we are reliant upon medications to mitigate our rate of decline going down. But when we're told, hey, your check engine light's on, we're always like, well, what can we do to make me feel better now? Because we think that making it feel better now is what's going to get the check engine light off.
Yep.
But imagine if you went to Crane Hyundai, they said, hey, just patch it up a little bit, make it so it can drive today, but I don't really care if the check engine light goes off. They're like, okay, I can do that. That's only going to be $100. Great, okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, nice. Well, now I can drive, and I have the confidence, okay, my car's going to make it through one more day. I get to tomorrow, and the check engine light is still on. And now I'm like, crap, I got to go back to Crane Hyundai.
Yep, and
Dang
then
it,
just
I got to go back. The check engine light never goes off. And then the car starts breaking down. Now it starts rattling and stuff. It starts screeching. The reason why I'm able to say this is because my car's done that. But every time my car's busted, I go and get it fixed. I want that check engine light off. Like that's panic because I don't know what's going to occur. My car might blow up one day and I might be in it, which is
I can confirm Chris in his vehicle, he gets stressed if anything goes wrong.
I've had bad history with cars. So I've had really bad history with cars. I always got the hand-me-downs with my cars because my dad would drive it, pass it on to my older sister, and then my older sister, when she's running into the dirt, would then pass it on to me when I got of age. So I literally, and phones too. So I get everything on like their end of life and then get blamed for when they blow up.
He gets very, we'll just be driving together or something, and in his car, he's like, what was that? Well, you hear that noise? Why is that noise? Why is it doing that?
My brakes on my back, my brake pads on my back wheel were busted, and they were making loud noises. It was bad.
And so, kind of going back to the,
I got gassed up right there. I just went on
his
a roll.
vehicle. But this is true. People prioritize the things that are important to them. And so we've had it where, like we understand that if you look at what people are doing to mask the symptoms over such a long period of time, they're actually paying more in the bandages than they actually are in the quote-unquote surgery. We would say that very loosely, but in terms of care. We're going to spend so much time on the bandages and on the gauze pads and all these things that are just going to mask up the boo-boo. I say boo-boo because, you know, I have 2.5-year-old at home. Those children can understand that. So, you know, we're doing everything to mask up this boo-boo, and over, you know, 10 years, how much have we spent on doing that when the reality is it was going to cost less over a 6 to 8 month period? So here's the thing. No, we don't expect people to pay all up front, but it makes it a lot easier, but we don't expect people to. You know, we have most commonly people split it up in the monthly payments, whatever their care plan would be, just to make it more affordable to them. But it's also, the thing is this: we cannot have a scarcity mindset of it. Now, if we're nervous because we don't understand what the end looks like, if we're confused, then, I mean, that makes sense. But the reality is this. The reality is the investment that you're making in yourself with care is going to help you out long-term, point blank, period. We see it time and time again.
The majority of people who are A, watching, B, have come in for a consult, and then C, haven't started care, they've already kind of made it in their mind subconsciously. It's like, hey, when I get to a point where A, I either do get sick enough that stuff's not working, or B, I'm already sick enough and I'm just not financially ready. They've already kind of made in the mind. It's like, hey, I'm going to do this at some point in my life. I understood the science behind it. It makes sense the way they explained it. This makes a lot of sense. Like my brain is what's actually healing my body. It's not communicating well. It's a little bit choked up. And so they know that that's because my top bone is misaligned, because they know that by the scan. So they need to take x-rays and administer an adjustment. And okay, now my brain's going to communicate with my body, and now my body's going to heal up. Okay, they get that. And they understand, okay, at some point I'm going to do this. So that's when the financial kind of management kind of comes into play of, okay, well, how can I get to a point where I can do this? Because my income is fixed. I just have a job. My income's not going to change, but I need to start saving up money to do that. One of the best tips I've gotten in terms of financial management was live off of 70 to 80% and put away 20 to 30% of your paychecks. So every time you get a paycheck, just immediately put away 20%.
Yeah.
You don't even see it. And then all of a sudden, 4 months later, you have a decent little sack of emergency fund.
Or we'll ask people, we'll say, you know, how much do you think you could afford each month? And if some people are like, well, I think, you know, right now I can only afford $100 a month, then we'll say, okay, so, you know, in terms of financial management, take that $100 a month that you would be putting towards care and save it. And then we let them go with some tips and stuff like that to do at home. And then when the time is right, when they saved up enough to be able to put down a down payment, then it makes their monthly payment smaller to make it around that cost of what they would have been putting in it anyway. So
that's good.
All saying is this, wrapping up, this is exactly what it is this is exactly what we're trying to say. The first thing is this. The first thing is that it's finances are a thing. And finances are power. And when you have power, you're actually exchanging, you're exchanging power for something, right? Like, I worked hard to attain this dollar. And as we talked about this before, it's unfortunate that everything is money, right? It used to be like, hey, you have chiropractic services? I have food. I need your services.
Right.
I need your services for chiropractic. I have the food. Can I just give you food for services?
Yeah. Can I check your family and you just give me all the fruit I need for a week?
Exactly.
That would be awesome.
That would be honestly the best case scenario, because that's what we just use money for anyway, is the basic needs. And then if we want stuff, we could also use it as well. So the key part is this. Yes, when you give money, you're exchanging power for a certain thing. B, yes, we charge for our services. We do not do it for free. C, no, we do not take insurance, because if we took insurance, it would behoove us to do things clinically that we don't want to do just to try to get reimbursed. And D, we understand, my friends, that not everyone can afford one big payment all up front. And so we do manage and allow people to be able to split it up in monthly payments to make it more affordable for them. All to say this: we are so grateful that you're able to listen to us today. We're so grateful for them. Actually, this is the first time we've shot a podcast in a while.
Very long time. Yes.
Yep.
So we are back.
Yep, we are back. God bless every single one of you. We're very, very grateful, not only for you. Listen, if you enjoyed the podcast, please go ahead and share this with someone. If you follow us on social media, you can follow us at the Specific Little Rock, at Dr. Chris Brown, and at Dr. Cam Daniels. My friends, we're very grateful for you and everything that you do, done, will always continue to do for us. Till next time.
See ya.